All right, the commutative property. So, the commutative property also is only going to apply to addition and multiplication. And when you think of the commutative property, I want you to think of that C and think of parentheses. The commutative property is the one that involves the parentheses. And the way that the commutative property works, we need at least 3 terms here in order to explain the commutative property. What it says is that if we have a number like 5 plus 3 in parentheses, and then we add on a 2, that is going to be the exact same thing as if we group this differently. So in this case, if we group this differently, that would be like saying 5 plus, and then having the parentheses around the 3 plus 2. So 3 plus 2. So let's get these lined up here. 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 2. So it's saying that these two are going to be equal to each other. So let's put this equal sign here. So 5 plus 3, let's evaluate these separately. 5 plus 3, well, that's going to be 8. 8 plus 2, well, that's going to give us 10. Well, let's do this one now. So remember, groupings first. 3 plus 2, that's going to be 5. 5 plus 5, well, that's also going to be 10. So we can check to make sure that that is true. So we're keeping the order, the 5, then the 3, then the 2. The only thing that we're changing is these grouping symbols around. We're putting the grouping around the 3 and the 2 instead of around the 5 and the 3. And that gives us the exact same answer. And the reason it does is because of the commutative property of addition and multiplication. So we're going to do the exact same thing. We did it with addition, but now we're going to do this with multiplication. So let's swap these pluses out for multiplication signs. And we're going to check our answers again to see that the commutative property holds up for multiplication. So we do what is in the parentheses first. 5 times 3, that's going to give us 15. We can add that little 15 up here so we remember. So 5 times 3 is 15. Then we're going to get 15 times 2. And 15 times 2, that should give us 30. All right, and let's check this one down here then. So a different order. Let's do the 3 times 2 first. 3 times 2, well, that should give us a 6. Put that right up there so we don't forget. And now we've got a 5 times a 6. And 5 times 6, well, that should give us the exact same thing. We're going to end up with a 30. So in both of these cases, 5 times 3 times 2, we get 30. Or 3 times 2 times 5, we get 30. So that's a good way to check and see if it has that commutative property. Again, commutative property, this is the one that involves the parentheses. You can think of that C up there as being a parenthesis, and that's how you can help remember this property. And again, I won't go through exactly why it doesn't work, but it does not apply to the division sign. This is also not going to apply to subtraction. So this is only going to be applying to addition and multiplication. So addition and multiplication are going to be the commutative property.